Oh, TJ Watt effect is back, bitches. We got Aaron Rodgers coming back down 14.
Frank Reich was fully in effect. Them boys
Bro,
and
yo, we have Jonathan Taylor. We have Matt Ryan. Let's win with these motherfuckers. And he shut everybody up. Like,
let him in, passing out the medicines. We've been on that rock star regimen, knowing that I'm heaven sent, higher than I ever been.
what's going on? Welcome to Totally Blitz podcast. Today we recapping week 10 of the NFL and shit, it was a crazy week in the football. As always, go down, like and subscribe. These are your hosts for the show. I'm Paul Pick'em Win'em Concha, and I co-host as always.
I know. What is it? Hey, man, you already know, man. It's your boy Kev, Water Boy, talking that shit, eating these motherfucking picks because I look crazy for some of these games. How the fuck do the Redskins beat the Eagles? I mean, the commies beat the Eagles. These are questions that only football gods can answer.
Hey, bro, them boys playing their fucking heart out this week. And I'm not gonna lie, some teams played their fucking heart out this week. Man, but real quick, before we jump into everything, I'm gonna break down how we went as always. Kev went 6-7. And I went 8-5. So I claimed this week. But as a total year standing, Kevin's still leading 71-60-1 to my 68-63-1. But it's only 3 games back.
Bro, these games are insane. The fact that, like, you get to a point now, you really can't call shit. How the fuck did the Lions beat the Bears by 1 point? Like, these are things you just can't call. Like, you don't see this coming for sure.
I knew it was going to be a close game, and that boy Goff is finally due his own fucking victory. He was due one. What is it, 1-10 within, like, point games within, like, 3 now?
That's insane. This is their first road win all season. And then you got motherfuckers like the Cardinals beating shit out of the motherfucking, not Niners. Who the Cardinals beat the shit out of? The Rams?
The Rams, yeah. Backup versus backup.
Cooper Kupp disappeared in like the first 10 seconds. Shit was insane.
He got hurt after the first drive. He didn't play the rest of the game.
I know. I got him on fantasy. I was like, Cooper
okay.
Kupp, 3 points. What the fuck? Did an earthquake drop in LA? Like, what the fuck they got going out there? And since 2021, fun fact, the Cardinals are 11-3 on the road, which is insane because they suck.
They definitely do suck, especially on the road, and especially against Sean McVay. It don't add up.
And these motherfuckers get dubs on the road. Like, I'm going to start. That's low-key. If I was a betting man, I'd start looking like, Cardinals underdogs on the road? I'll cash that every time.
D-Hop effect. They winning games now that he's back. Was it 2 of 3 now? They won the games that he's back.
That's insane. But, oh yeah, and then the motherfucking, all right, so let's get into the Kev's Water Boys games of the week, man. So, bro, this is such a great week of football. So, like, I'm gonna let you pick one. I'm gonna pick one, and there's gonna be a unanimous one. So, would you like to go first, Paul?
Oh yeah, I'll go first. Fuck it. My water game, the Water Boy game of the week. The Colts beating the Raiders. I was on the Colts. Frank Reich was fully in effect. Them boys, and I did say also on the show that the veterans in the locker room don't want to lose. They didn't want to lose. Like, they weren't trying to tank. And I was shocked as everyone else that Matt Ryan got the start. But when I saw Matt Ryan got the start, I was like, oh, Jeff Saturday's on the same page. Like, we're fucking winning some games this year.
No, I respect that game to the fullest, just off the fact. I was on that game to the fullest, just off the face that motherfucking Jeff Saturday kind of was like, yo, we have Jonathan Taylor. We have Matt Ryan. Let's win with these motherfuckers. And he shut everybody up. Like, you can't say shit to a motherfucker talking about he ain't got no experience. If he's unlocking what you need to win, you got Jonathan Taylor breaking for 69-yard touchdowns and shit. Matt Ryan going up top to motherfucking not Himes. Was it Himes? It might have been Himes. But like,
no, Himes is out of there. Paris Campbell was his favorite target.
They look good. Like, I was like, the Colts? What the fuck? So Jeff Saturday might know something. He probably gave them boys a motivation. He told the O-line. Because what I was really thinking that they picked up Jeff Saturday for was like, okay, maybe he can get the O-line right. He got the niggas right. How many did they give up any sacks?
I believe they gave up a sack or two, but they didn't give up 4, so it's already a fucking step in the right direction. Yeah, gave up 1 sack, but Matt Ryan had his best day, no interceptions either, just 21 of 28. Like he didn't throw 45 times in a game because Jonathan Taylor looked the best he's been. And the Jeff Saturday might be the reason. They might got everything going now. Who knows?
That's insane. Because think about it, Jeff Saturday's their coach for the next, like, he pulled like a Rick Bisaccia on their ass, and it really gets that team to the playoffs.
Yeah, and Jim Irsay was clowning some people on Twitter. He like tweeted out, and it was like, "Yeah, everyone that clown me, all I do is fucking like hire winners." I can't remember what it was, but it's some funny shit. Like, yeah, even Jim Irsay's relishing in the fact that like, what's up now? All that shit y'all was talking about Jeff Saturday.
I want to say he hires winners, but you know what I'm saying. He hires people that think winning is cool.
What's your game? What's the second game?
Bro, I gotta give it to the motherfucking Saints and who them bum ass niggas that beat their ass. The
Steelers.
TJ Watt effect is back, bitches. Like that's what I got from that game. Motherfucking, I didn't even watch that bitch like crazy like that because I was on Red Zone all day and it was only a 10-20 game. But I just like the motherfucking Ken Pickett to George Pickens doing their thing, eating. Like this team is Mike Tomlin the way maybe not into the playoffs because the AFC is so deep, but to a winning record. The TJ Watt effect is here. You got Najee Harris going for 20 attempts and 99 yards, like broke for 36 type shit. Like,
yeah, even the backup was cooking. James Warren, like the fucking not James Warren, Jalen Warren and Kenny Pickett used his legs a little bit in this matchup. They got Pickens the ball, even if they did fucking like end around runs for him. Like Pickens is a playmaker, and they finally found a way to get his ass involved.
Now that shit is actually funny because I just be sitting there thinking like, yo, what is these motherfuckers like game plan every week? But they figure it out.
So fucking last week 1, Highsmith had 3 sacks. Why? Because TJ Watt was fucking getting the penetration, getting double teamed, everything. This week, Highsmith with 2 sacks. Highsmith hasn't had a multi-sack game since I think week 1. So like that's the TJ Watt effect. Even if he's not getting the numbers, everyone else around him can, because he's getting all the he's just a fucking force.
Nah, dead ass, man. So that was a good game, but I also got to put respect on the motherfucking Cowboys versus the Packers. We got Aaron Rodgers coming back down 14, and bro, they said I heard somebody say that everybody on the Cowboys must be Muslim because they was not respecting my dog Christian Watson, kid. 3 touchdowns, and it was so raw listening to Sunday Night Countdown. And Tony Dungy's from Tampa. Like Tony Dungy used to be at my football games when I played Little League because his son played for the Blues Chiefs. Like I used to see him Saturday, and then I would go on Sunday and see this nigga on TV, and I was like, that's insane. And now that I know, like, there's planes and tickets, there's plane rides and shit I had to go with that, I'm like, that's crazy. But the first thing he says, coming out of Tampa, Florida, Plant High School's very own Christian Watson. Bro, snap. 3 touchdowns, couldn't do nothing about him.
Highest snap percentage of the year, highest I think targets of the year. They got him fucking involved, and like it looked good. One thing I will say is the Cowboys, they got 2 early interceptions from Dak. Why? Like, why are you throwing the ball early? They start running the ball at halftime. Second half, running the ball. Like Tony Pollard, even the rookie running back, I don't know his name, but he was eating up the middle also. And like the running game is working, but now you're playing catch. Like that's just the thing with Dak. I feel like when Dak is in, they throw the ball so much that they create turnovers, and then they have to play catch up ball for the rest of the game. Versus when Cooper Rush was in, they just running the ball since the jump. And what has beat the Packers all year? Running the ball. The Cowboys did it to themselves as usual. Like stop trying to force Dak to throw 40 passes. I think he threw like 48 passes this game. Like this is why you lose.
That's actually insane to have Dak throwing that bitch like that. But hey, man, Jair Alexander had him a day too. He was locking shit up. Every time I see him, bro, on the red zone, they pull up. No fly zone in this motherfucker.
You know, they were playing zone, but when he did play man against CD, he locked him up. But when they weren't playing that, CD had a game. He had like 11 catches, 2 touchdowns, 150 yards. Like his ass went off, and I was like, oh shit, like okay, CD, I see you now. I didn't think he was a legit wide receiver one, but if you're able to put up stat lines like that and eat the way he did, I can't knock him for it.
Bro, every time I see CeeDee Lamb, I'm a big fan of CeeDee Lamb. I think he's a great talent. I liked him in college. I liked him at the draft when his girl looked like she was about to check his phone. He took that bill. Like, CeeDee Lamb's a great talent. I just don't know what it is consistently. I feel like maybe with a different quarterback, maybe on a different scheme, he could really show. And like I always agreed with you when he said he wasn't number one, but he showed his fucking ass this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's not his fault that they lost. I'll say that much.
But yeah, man. But on to the motherfucking game of the week, that game of the year that somebody, not gonna say no names, that nigga right there, says is not the game of the year. It doesn't beat the Dolphins versus the Ravens. I think the Dolphins versus Bills was the game of the year until this week. The Vikings versus the fucking Bills, and my biggest takeaway from this shit, Jay Jettis is the best receiver in the league, and that's the same league with Cooper Kupp in it.
Nah, but Jay Jettis ain't going for 2,000 this year like my boy Tyreek down in South Beach.
Yeah, Tyreek is gonna go for 2,000. I'm not gonna lie to you, and if he does that shit be crazy. But Jay Jettis, these grabs that this man catch are insane. That one hand grab,
late ones, yeah, those late that was nuts.
Imagine bro, reminds me of a basketball player that kind of just like, hey, yo, I'm taking this game over. Doing that at wide receiver, the only position in football where you have to ask for the ball, and you're over here being a showstopper. It's just like, we're not saying Kirk Cousins is good. We're not saying Kirk Cousins is bad. We just know Kirk Cousins can hit Jay Jettis when he needs it. That's insane.
I mean, the Vikings are kind of doing something similar as the Cowboys. They threw those 2 early interceptions. The Bills scored on both of those drives off those interceptions, and it was looking like, oh, the Bills. Josh Allen ended up playing, and Josh Allen was able to sling that bitch. So it was like, okay, and he ran a lot. Like, it didn't look like, especially on the runs where he was dropping his shoulder into some people. It was like, okay, we might not be 100%, but he definitely looks 85%. Like, he looks good out there. But those late game mistakes that forced the game into overtime, and then on top of it, the overtime interception. Like, I think Josh Allen's phenomenal talent. I love watching him. He's probably the most fun quarterback to see in the NFL, but he has a little bit of that Carson Wentz in him where if something's not there, he still tries to force it to be there. And when that happens, we see those interceptions happen. Sometimes they're dropped, so it's like, okay, on to the next play. But when something like that happens in overtime and it's highlighted upon, it's like, damn, like, where the fuck were you throwing that to?
No cap. And I don't want to leave this just to the quarterbacks. I think this is an all-around awesome game to everybody. I think that was a good play by Patrick Peterson, but it's 4th and 2. So if you don't get the fourth, like, you got the game's over regardless. But this is what really got me was when I'm watching Jay Jettis. First off, Dalvin Cook's run to break was fucking insane. But I'm literally watching them boys drive down, and I'm thinking like, yo, the one? I don't know if they could do that on the Bills defense. And I don't know how many times the Bills defense stopped them at the goal line, because every time I screamed. But when they got all those stops, and I was like, that's insane. And then you see like you said, man, the defense was in that bitch. Like, y'all niggas ain't shit.
They're having a giddy contest, right?
And these motherfuckers, for the next play, these motherfuckers bounced the snap. I'd rather you take a fucking safety. These motherfuckers, bro, I'm telling you, if I'm Kevin O'Connell, that's the coach's name, Kevin O'Connell.
Oh, for the Bills? For the Vikings, it's Kevin O'Connell. For the Bills, it's I'm blanking. What's his name? What was the other name you said?
Not Sean McDermott, but Sean something.
Yeah, no, it is Sean McDermott.
Oh, okay. Sean McDermott, motherfucker. If I'm him, I'm pissed. I'm livid. I'm insane. I'm like, there's no way that our defense literally did everything we paid them for just for you motherfuckers to give this ball up. And the fact that they drove it back down, you could say that Gabe Davis catch wasn't a catch, because it wasn't. But hey, if the refs didn't call it, then it's a catch. And every time.
And you can't challenge it within 2 minutes, which made it even worse. Like, I know Kevin O'Connell at that point is like, fuck this rule.
Nah, dead motherfucking ass. But That was a good fucking play by them boys. Oh my goodness, that fumble was terrible. We forgot to bring up that fumble in the second quarter. But motherfucking, this game was insane. Back and forth. The defense was making plays. The offense was making plays on both sides. And going into overtime, you see motherfucking Kirk Cousins. They really could have ended that bitch, but they couldn't finish it in the red zone. But like watching this game the entire time, I was just like, wow.
I want to see, when did Josh Allen throw that first interception? I know it was in the second quarter, not second quarter, but second half.
This is actually interesting, right? While you're looking that up, do you think, right? So Josh Allen, you can't. It's hard to say that Josh Allen was hurt the way he was running motherfuckers over and shit like that. But do you think a non 100% or semi or like a non 100% or a semi hurt Josh Allen kind of those throws, like you said, when you guys played the Dolphins, he probably had like 4 or 5 throws that could have been interceptions. And do you think those throws that he makes, that he forces and he makes happen, don't, that's like just the injuries kind of just like, oh yeah, there is no like grace. There's no 50-50 no more. All these balls are 80-20s now.
I think it's more like, because outside of this game, I know he has 2 this game, but prior to this game coming into, he had 8 interceptions. Now he has 10. Like, he's right behind Matt Ryan, and I just think it's in, like, last year he got away with some drops and like something, but he still had a good amount of interceptions. It's just like after a certain after a certain time, they started running with him a lot more, so he wasn't throwing as much. He was like, they were just unstoppable. But in the backside of him, he still has the capability of making those mistakes. It could be like almost like Tua right now. I love Tua, but it's also like the scheme they're running is great for Tua not to make mistakes. He's making good reads. 2 great players that can get space and separation. If you take that away, if it was a lot of jump balls and a lot of shit like that, then you start seeing like, okay, maybe he could start throwing interceptions. So like with Josh Allen, I think he has great talent, but they lost Brian Daboll. And Brian Daboll is looking what he's doing for the Giants with Danny Dimes and them. Like, I think that hurts them a lot. So now the game, it's a different system they're trying to run from Ken Dorsey, and they're not. It's not highlighting him as much. Like, he can still get wins. It's almost like Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson sometimes throws these ducks, but sometimes he makes these highlight plays. So it's kind of like you give and you take. Those mistakes are gonna be highlighted upon though, I think, in playoffs and stuff. Like, unless he plays a stellar game, no interceptions, then he has the other game where he might throw 2 interceptions, 3 interceptions, trying to squeeze you into tight windows when the play is already dead.
No, it's crazy. At this point, the Bills are so good. They're the number one. They're the number one team in the AFC to me. Even though the Chiefs have been balling and nobody wants to talk about it, but motherfucking, they make too many mistakes to be the best. Like, to be the best, you can beat the Packers were the number one team in the NFC last year and got knocked the fuck out by the motherfucking 49ers on a fucked up punt on a punt block. Like being number one doesn't really mean shit. It's being the best and being able to really be locked in and focused in prime situations. And I think that's something we're not seeing from the Bills, especially in this regular season. Like, how many times have we seen Josh Allen at the end of the game throw his fucking, take his helmet off and scream fuck, or like crying to somebody's shoulders type shit? Like,
Yeah, and they said that the Bills since 2020 and 1-score games, they're 1-6 or 1-7. Like, so take that with what you want to take it for. But it's like, if the game is kind of close, I don't know how all those games ended, but it's just like they're not winning these close games.
and these last couple of weeks, they've been terrible in the second half. Like the Packers game, you thought was a blowout, slowly came back.
Second half, only a field goal. They haven't scored a second half touchdown all year.
That's crazy.
Not all year, but in the last 3 weeks.
That's crazy. They only put up six points in the second half this week, and that counts the motherfucking field goal to take the game into overtime.
Yeah, like, so they're definitely beatable if they're making their own mistakes, and if Josh Allen is the one making those mistakes, it will be highlighted upon. Like right now, they're not even first in the division anymore. They're third. They're behind the Jets and the Dolphins.
But like everybody in your division is low key has a chance to go to the playoffs right now. That's insane.
Yeah. But let's get into these games real quick. We got to go all the way. Our first game of the week was in Germany early in the morning. The Buccaneers beating the motherfucking Seahawks. We both took the Seahawks here as the dog. The Bucks, they got it done. Chris Godwin had a game. Fucking Ricard White, the backup running back. I think that's the big key. Was the backup running back had 105 yards. Like Leonard Fournette was out of the game. He got hurt, and they just didn't look back with Ricard White. And then Godwin, late game touchdown to kind of ice it. Like they kind of looked good. The defense was getting sacks.
First off, fuck the Seahawks, because I literally choose against y'all every week, and I say, hey, I hate the Bucks a little bit more. So I'm gonna trust y'all to handle business in Germany. Instead, y'all had to take that second flight back. Fuck them. But on some real shit, I think the Seahawks just started off this game slow. And I think their biggest key was when they did pick up momentum, they had that fumble, and that fumble ended up being Brady ended up taking that drive, taking that down for them to get I want to say the touchdown to Chris Godwin. So that's when they still picked up steam and they looked good, like they were scoring everything, but it was a little too late.
Yeah, I mean, they had 3 points going into the fourth quarter, and then so you can't wait to the fourth to try to play hero ball. Sometimes it doesn't work out. They couldn't get Kenneth Walker going.
I think they were supposed to win this game, especially. Oh, I forgot that bum ass boy. You see, why do people put Brady outside? Like it's always a pick every time.
That was actually his second on the season. He had some crazy streak going on. He was about to break the record, and he just came just too short to break the record.
Of what picks?
Yeah, because his first pick was like so many throws ago. Because his first pick was the very first week, and that was it.
No, I'm talking about not the pick that he threw. The pick that when they had him at receiver trying to do the Philly special.
Oh, and his ass fell down.
Yeah, like he posted that bitch on Twitter like this would have been 6 if I just Randy Moss that motherfucker.
Hey, Brady Moss.
Hey, 2-0 after the divorce. So we'll see what happens, man. Maybe the Bucks can pick up steam.
Nah, facts. I mean, they're 5-5 right now. Next game, we had the Lions beating the Bears in Chicago, 1 point. I mean, Fields was beasted. Fields was fully unleashed, throwing the ball, finding open targets who were just like way wide too open for touchdowns, and then threw a fucking pick six, and the Lions take the lead, and that was just like the broke the back because it was such a close game, and then that pick six was just like, oh fuck.
Fun fact: I've been starting McCole Hardman at the flex all for the last week, and I picked him up off the waivers, dropped 23 points for me. But McCall Hardman was out this week, so I was looking for waivers. I was like, yo, who do I know might score a touchdown this week? That's all I was looking for. And then I find Cole Kmet. I was like, what? Justin Fields love this motherfucker. There's no way. And guess who just happened to pick him up 30 minutes before the game and ended up that boy scoring 2 touchdowns for me.
Snap. Nicole Kmet had a fucking day. He was just way too open for some of them catches.
Bro, that one in the third quarter for the touchdown was insane. I was like, bro, did you guys even pay attention to him, or was that just a bad hole in his zone?
And Jeff Okudah got the pick six, and he former teammate of Justin Fields back at Ohio State, which was a fun little connection there. Oh man, someone said like one all shit can ruin a lifetime of attaboys. And I was like, that's so true for Justin Fields, because that one all shit was the kind of what everyone's gonna remember right now. Not the fact that he had a fucking day on the ground and in the air.
I'm so glad that he finally been fully unleashed. But it's crazy. Like that's what he had. What he scored, a 69-yard touchdown this week?
Yeah, to the house.
Burnt the fuck out of them boys up the middle. I was shook.
147 yards on 13 carries, 2 touchdowns.
And that's crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Whoever their coach is, it might be smart to fire him too. Like you took you this long to realize this shit. It's like you could kind of say it's like similar to Nick Sirianni last year with Jalen Hurts. It took them a minute to sit down and realize like, yo, these motherfuckers can run, so let's run this bitch.
Not true. And Lions first back-to-back wins for them with Jared Goff. So Dan Campbell, both of them first ever back-to-back wins. So they're turning a new leaf this year.
Hey, shout out my Lions, man. You know I got love for them boys. Even though I've been picking against their ass religiously.
Our next game, the Titans beating the Broncos. We both were all over the Titans. I even made that my lock and the best bet. Both cashed. Like, it wasn't because of Derrick Henry though. It was a team effort. I mean, Tannehill hitting the flea flicker. which was
That was
nasty. What else? Tannehill, I think threw another touchdown. He had like 2 total touchdowns. Derrick Henry only had like 50 yards, so they kept him at bay. The Broncos defense did their best. They only let him score 17 points. But the offense for the Broncos, once again, six sacks on Russell Wilson this week by the Titans defense. 6 sacks. And I think that another lineman got hurt in this game, and he's hitting the injury report. So this is looking rough for the Broncos who put all this money into this season.
Hey man, I always like when the game ends with a pick, like the quarterback's trying to force something 4th down, and then they just throw that bitch up and they pick that bitch off. Like defense seals the game type shit. It's always good. They had a chance to win this, and like I'm not gonna sit here and act like the Titans had it the whole game because I thought when the Broncos because Cortland Sutton that catch that he made with the one. The only reason why it's not the best catch is because Jay Jettas literally reached all the way back and took out a grown man's motherfucking hand and caught that bitch like this. Like he didn't even put it on his body. He caught it like this. So, but that Cortland Sutton catch was nasty too. But I thought this offense was just kind of willing their way into winning this game. And I can't remember who scored the touchdown. I want to say it was not Cortland Sutton, maybe number 19 or number 14, the one that way they broke up the sideline. I was like,
Virgil.
Virgil. I was like, these motherfuckers came to win. Like
That was
Loki,
his
I thought
first catch of the season, I believe, too.
Nice. I thought that was game right there. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, Broncos made me look stupid this week. Fuck him. But nah. Ryan Tannehill had something for that, which was insane.
Yeah, I mean, the defense is showing out for the Titans too. Like 6 sacks, clap to them boys. But the wide receiver was Westbrook for Tannehill. Had like 119 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like his ass was cooking for Tannehill's ass this week.
Hey, what they say, man? Was it one AJ Brown away? I think
One
they're trying
AJ Brown.
to.
Robert Woods ain't doing it for him.
Imagine getting Robert Woods thinking like, oh yeah, he'll be a nice replacement for AJ Brown.
Next game, the Chiefs beating the Jaguars 27-17. I mean, this was at some points it looked like the Jags were about to be done, and then the Chiefs throw like an interception to the Jaguars defense, and it's like, hold on, maybe the Jaguars still got it left in them, but the Chiefs we both picked them for a reason here. I did make it my bet. I did say wait to +10, which it was at +10, and if you took it at +10, we pushed. We got a tie.
Nah, dead ass. I mean, I look at this game as like the Jaguars did everything they could, like everything. They started off with an onside kick. They never gave up. They still were scoring touchdowns. Like you said, the Chiefs were turning it over and they were trying to capitalize. Chiefs just have way too much firepower for their ass.
Yeah, and Kadarius Toney scoring a touchdown,
Jumping up on
somebody
on one leg, running up that side. That was fine. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I feel like that's all he's meant to do. Like Juju got hurt, or
Juju did get hurt. He probably gonna be on. Then my prop bet was looking good. He had a couple catches for like 30 yards in the first quarter, and then he got blown to smithereens, and they carted him off or he walked off. But yeah, he was a bad play.
Niggas say he got blown to smithereens.
Hey, it didn't look good, but neither did the Jaguars this week. Our next game, though, we had the Giants beating the Texans 24-16. It was ugly this first half, 7-3 at halftime. And then the offense started scoring. But Dameon Pierce seems to be the only thing the Texans got. Davis Mills, he had 300 yards, but it didn't look like it. He had like 300 yards, but nothing amounted to much of it. Saquon got 35 carries, 152 yards. Like the days of being worried if Saquon would get hurt and limiting his carries, those are long gone, bro. 35 carries. Then we had the Dolphins blowing out the Browns 39-17. Tua, man. Tua. That boy's cooking. Like Tyreek didn't have a great day. Waddle only had like 65 yards. Everyone else had like 190 yards combined. Like he threw to 8 different receivers. Like shit was going. Like he was getting it done. Trent Sherfield, dog, certified dog. He seems to be the number 3 receiver. I forgot Cedric Wilson's even on the team. Like Trent Sherfield seems to be legit, and Jeff Wilson. I love Raheem Mostert, but Jeff Wilson, 17 carries, 119 yards. Like, he seems to be the back we've been looking for.
You know you ain't shit, right? I wanted to put respect on Jeff Wilson first, because fuck Raheem Mostert. Bro, I'm still mad. Bro got me 1 point that 1 week. Ever since then, I've never been. I don't think I could ever be a fan again. I could meet Bro in person. I'd be like, oh, Raheem Mostert, congratulations.
Since coming back from injury to his like 4-game run, 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns, no interceptions. Like, boy is like, he's cooking. Like, he jumped Josh Allen in the MVP odds on betting websites. He's now the 3rd favorite behind Mahomes and Hurts. Like, the Tua effect is real.
Nah, that shit is fine. And like, he deserves it, man. It's crazy to think that they attempted to bench him last year.
Brian Flores, bro, fuck that man.
And they started losing when they benched him.
Brian Flores, bro, he's like a fucking movie villain, bro. He's probably sitting at home so mad now that he's like just a linebacker coach for the Steelers. Like, not like, he went from head coach of Miami to a linebacker coach on the Steelers, and it's all because you hated on Tua.
You didn't believe in, bro. Like, that's insane. The whole time you're trying to get Deshaun Watson.
And we just bust the Browns. I know it wasn't with Deshaun Watson, but when we put 39 on their head, we put 30 something last week, 29 the week before. Like, Tua, we're scoring. I think we can shoot out with anybody in the AFC East. I can't wait for the playoffs or the AFC.
And the whole AFC. But then I looked at this shit like, we was on that. We saw like, yo, this offense is a problem. And they're showing that, like, you have one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league right now, and he can hit his targets in stride.
Most accurate quarterback in the NFL with the deepest throw per attempt, 9 yards per attempt. That man's throwing a first down for damn near every throw.
I mean, you can do that when you got motherfucking Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. Like, you got some fast ass motherfucker, and then Gesicki big ass down low. You can do that.
Facts. But people were putting like Waddle's. People were downplaying like, oh, Waddle's not going to have another 1,000-yard season because Tyreek's going to. And I was like, both of them. Who's covering? I've been saying since who's covering that much speed on the field? And people think Tua's not going to get it to him. So like, I'm happy Waddle's the number 5 receiver in yards and Tyreek's number 1. Is like, yeah, this is what the offense is. Everyone that wanted to hate on this, like, we're coming for you. Next game, we had the Cardinals beating the Rams. We kind of hit on this a lot earlier, but the Rams, it was backup versus backup, and Colt McCoy seems to be a player.
I forgot Colt McCoy existed until I seen his name on the stat line. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I should have known. Like, I didn't change my pick. I was like, maybe Sean McVay still cook something up. But when it was Colt McCoy versus Sam Walford, I should have known Colt McCoy was gonna get the.
I trusted this defense, and I'll never do that again. I'm thinking the LA Rams defense is a problem to a month Cliff Kingsbury. Sight.
James Conner, 2 touchdowns, 69 yards. DeAndre Hopkins, 10 catches, 98 yards. I mean, the offense didn't look bad in the hands of Colt McCoy. And then on the other side, with the Rams, Cooper Kupp, he getting hurt. He's high ankle sprain. It looks pretty bad, they're saying. So he's probably going to be out for a few weeks. So that's not good.
Bro, it's gone. And it's terrible for my fantasy. But as long as he's back for playoff time.
A lot of fantasy still has Allen Robinson in the waivers because he's been such a disappointment this year. I would say go pick him up because they have no other receiver that can be really wide receiver 1 like that. And like, he might be the one thrusted into those 10, 11 targets.
Yeah, no rap cap.
Next game, 49ers beating this Chargers team. It was close at half. Chargers are winning, I think like 16-10. They didn't score another point after that. The 49ers is Elijah Mitchell kept feeding him the ball. Christian McCaffrey making a few catches. Brandon Ayuk, who I thought, I mean, he dropped, it was a drop for the touchdown, but that was a nasty route to get open. Like, he's low-key coming into his own on the other side of Debo.
Nah, this 49ers team is very interesting to me because we beat them. And we beat them, in my opinion, convincingly. So, yeah. I just see them play against other teams, and I wonder, like, what the fuck y'all got up? Because Jimmy G, he doesn't have terrible games, but he doesn't have 100 interception games. You feel me? And the fact that they can just feed their firepower and they've got their will and they're making ways work with IU, Debo, and Christian McCaffrey. And you got Elijah Mitchell and you got the fullback, I don't know how to say his last name. Like,
Juszczyk or
yeah, I was gonna say, like, Brett's the best at a dying position. I'm pretty sure he's the only reason why people still know what fullbacks are. So motherfucking this 49ers team, if they can pick up some steam, they could go back to the conference championships again.
Yeah, him, Juszczyk, and the only other fullback is Alec Ingold, who is now on the Dolphins. Mike McDaniel 49er system. Like, the only two systems that are going to keep that fullback alive.
Dead ass.
Yep, 49ers 5-4, right behind the Seahawks, who just lost this week. So that division is still up for grabs, and it seems to be only those two. I mean, maybe the Cardinals make a run now that D-Hop's back, but the Rams look dead.
Oh, the Rams is dead. Because dead. Super Bowl, fucking Super Bowl hangover. Them niggas got a Super Bowl alcohol poison.
Yeah, them boys need help right now. Our last game, biggest upset of the week, double-digit underdog. The Commies came to upset the Eagles. Perfect season, leaving them boys 8-1, scoring on a fumble recovery just to on the last play of the game, just to fucking run the score up on their ass. Tyler Heineke, I mean, they're winning with him. He's not. I mean, he threw that late game interception, but he was making some throws before that. Like, they're looking not bad with him.
I mean, what the fuck happened? I was like watching this game, but I was just looking like, the Eagles really not going to come back? Like, that was me watching this game the entire day. Like, the Eagles are not going to come back for that? That's crazy.
Hurts throwing interception. I think I want to say 2 interceptions. No, just 1 interception. But then there was the fumble by I don't even want to say it. I don't even know how to say his name, but the turnovers, like, I felt like the Commanders played their best game of football all year, and the Eagles played probably one of their worst games of the year, and it was still only like a 3-point game in the fourth quarter. And then there's a little bit more side. I mean, there was a missed face mask call on Goddard that would have given them the first down. Instead, Washington gets the ball back. But there was just so many times the Eagles could have took the lead, and they just couldn't do it. And
dead ass.
Hey, sometimes you just start feeling yourself a little too much. I don't know what happened. They were just getting a little sloppy. Now, 1972 Dolphins are still the only team with the undefeated record.
I've been screaming the last 3-4 weeks, like, the Eagles are due for an L. They're a good team, and they do great things, but they're due for an L. I just didn't know it was going to come from the Commies. Yeah.
The mightiest underdog we could find. The scrappiest.
But that was a whole week 10 for y'all boys. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was a great week of fucking football. A lot of shit talking getting done. I got a dub in fantasy. Lost in my other fantasy to this motherfucker.
Yes, sir.
I gotta start making some trades or something. It's you got a bad team, which is cool, but like, it's tough when you slowly see them just get worse and worse and worse. And now you're not even scoring 100 no more. It's like, fuck.
Not fat. Hey, I think the trade deadline ended, though. I think, or maybe it's this weekend, so you better hurry up.
Oh, wow. Bet.
But wrap it up for them, boys, Kev.
Hey, man. This has been another episode of Told You Bitch podcast. But, hey, I don't mind telling you, if you didn't know, ya bitch, that I'm in this bitch with Paul Pickham winning content. I'm your boy, Kev Waterboy Savoy. And I would tell you, but I'm going to let my dog iced up Patrick Peterson, because iced up Kirk Cousins has retired. Iced up Patrick Peterson tell you that you's a bitch.
I got a problem with being problematic. Get the light beam on me, ready for electrostatic. Don't you step into this box if you're not back.